know some of you already know this punchline, but I want to share with you a story, and I want this recorded because it really shows how I screwed something up. So, and I think it's important to learn from our mistakes. And this is a mistake that I personally made, and it's costing me, I'm going to go with about $20,000. That's right, guys. $20,000 mistake that I'm losing money on because me no think smart. So here's what's going on. I'm going to show you my screen just so y'all can see what's going on. And all right, there we go, guys. Can y'all see my screen? Can y'all see just that Seinfeld background of me messing around here? Everybody nod. Yep, got it. Cool. Okay, so here's what I did wrong, guys. I took a little bit too much faith in a friend of mine that I was working on selling his house. So here's the story. I've got a $775,000 house for sale, okay? Beautiful house. Commission on that's roughly $25,000, right? What happened is this, when you get into those bigger houses, guys, they're very, very tough to sell. They're just tough houses to sell. It's tough to get going. And it took us a little while. So, and this is out on Lake McQueen. About 3 days after I put this house on the market, the Lake Dunlap Dam fell. So then all of a sudden, nobody wanted to buy anything out on Lake McQueen or anywhere near Lake McQueen because they sure property values were going to drop. Beyond that, then that was in the spring and summer. It was real weird. I got a handful of showings, but it just, I mean, everything out there was just dead. Then came the winter time, which most people aren't looking for houses in winter, which slows down. Then we come out of winter into COVID. And guys, I have done everything in my power to market this property. I've had 2 sets of professional photographers come in. I've had, a professional videographer come in. I've been running internet ads. I'd send out digital flyers. I did all of the stuff that I was telling you about. And I had it on something called the iLux tour, which, guys, if you have a high-end property, let me know, and I'll show you all the little secrets that I did with that. And I kept getting some showings. Well, eventually the owners got antsy. And when the owners got antsy, guys, they decided they wanted to go with another realtor. So what was weird about this is that with the other realtor, they wanted to go with another realtor. These were friends of mine. I know them personally. I'm very good friends with their son. I've known them for, I'd probably say, the better part of 6-7 years, and they wanted to go somewhere else. So being the guy that I am, I said, hey, look, I'm just going to bow out. Okay. I said, I'm not going to sit here and hold you to it. I'm not going to make this big fight with you guys. I just want to make sure that y'all are happy and I get it. And in our agreement, they said they would reimburse me for any marketing costs. So that's part of the agreement. So I wasn't too worried about it. It just kind of sucked that I was missing it. The only thing I said to him was, I was like, guys, give me another week. I want a week to try, and I've got this last person coming in, and let me try and seal this up. So on Monday, we got an offer from those people. They rejected the offer. On Tuesday, we got another offer from those people. Wednesday, they rejected that. Late Saturday, they send me one more offer. And I called them Saturday night, and they said, look, we're going to reject it. Go get your signs out of the yard. Thanks for all you've done. Well, so that was Mondays when they told me that. Tuesday, I go pick up my signs. On Thursday, that client sent in a 4th offer, and that 4th offer, they accepted it. Now, my contract had ended a while back, and they had signed with a new realtor. And basically, legally, I don't have a leg to stand on at this point. They offered me, and guys, they were super nice about it. They're like, you just tell us what number that you need us to write, and we'll write you a check outside of closing. And guys, honestly, I'm not okay with that. I don't think that just because they're my friends, they should pay beyond 6% sales, because that's just, I still have a fiduciary responsibility to them. Taking more money out of their pocket does not make things better. And second, I really wanted them to get the most money for their house. So the other realtor involved in this transaction, quite honestly, I'm not going to say names, she should have bowed out. She should have said, never mind, because she had not even put a sign in the yard. She hadn't done anything. And her broker, of course, told her, well, too bad for that guy. It's his own damn fault, right? And that broker's right, because I did not have my paperwork up to date. So guys, the first thing, so basically that broker said she's going to pay me 25% after her broker payout, which is going to equal about $4,000, which is about how much I spent on marketing this property. And I'm taking a lick for 20 grand because I didn't have my paperwork properly filled out. I learned a very valuable lesson. I'm not real strict about paperwork with friends, but this just changed my attitude entirely. So I'm going to show y'all where I screwed up literally in the paperwork. I'm going to show you guys what to do. So where I grab all my forms, guys, is texasrealestate.com. And when you get there, you click on zip forms. And this is how I do all my contracts, everything. If you get yours from a different place, good for you. This is just the one that I like. And I'm going to go find a random transaction here that I know I'm not doing much in here. But what I want to point out to you guys is when you have a listing agreement, you need to make sure that you stay on top of your listing agreements. So which one am I looking for here, guys? Okay, so I had an exclusive right to sell. That is the form that I have. And let me show you where I messed up. There's a video about this, guys, so you can go through and watch the entire video. It'd be great. But the parties, the property, you fill all this out, exclusions, is it in a homeowners association? This is basically all the terms. We put 6% in here because I'm taking 6%. I'm going to give 3 to whoever buys it. That's how that works. But what I want to point out and where I messed up, guys, is down here towards the bottom, you have a date that this will end. Where is that? Sorry, guys. I'm sorry, where is this? Oh, here we go. There's the protection period. Sorry, this right here. Sorry, section 4. Here we are. So the term, this listing begins, let's say today, and I had put this to last for an entire year. I said, give me a year, guys. It's a high-end property, right? Well, that year ended a couple months ago, and I never updated this. So even though down here at the bottom that I had what's called a protection period, and I put a protection period of 30 days, just basically if you start a contract or you brought somebody to the table, it'll last beyond this. But where I messed up, guys, is once this listing agreement terminated, I no longer have a legal leg to stand on. So because that other broker, in my opinion, I don't think it's the right thing for them to do, but it doesn't matter because they're immediately going to go to legal. They're going to ask you, what is the legal thing? They want to know what is legally protected because that broker wants her money. That other agent wants her money. It doesn't matter if I did every single solitary bit of that marketing. It doesn't matter. And I was talking to Ryan about this. It's happened to Ryan before. I've talked to a couple other agents. It's happened to all them before. And they go, man, that just sucks. So what I want to point out to you guys, because this is just fresh on my heart, I lost 20 grand over this thing, is pull your calendar up, guys. As soon as you turn one of these things in, you need to put in here on whatever it is. It's September 2nd, 2021. You need to say listing agreement ends. You need to have something in there so you know to renew that listing. And it's really, really easy to do, guys. All you have to do is if we go back here, you see, notice I did that amendment to the listing right here. We're going to extend this time period. The listing type, blah, 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 blah. We're going to extend to go beyond that. So that way I'm still protected. Now, again, if they wanted to back out of the contract, I'm never going to tell them no, guys. It's just not my style. That's not who I am. I'm not going to let them, I'm not going to hold them to it. But we could have prevented a lot of this legal stuff because this one right here, I'd love to get in a legal fight about because that lady didn't do anything. She didn't even put a sign in the yard. I'm furious about this in that she's taken $20,000. She fell over backwards into 20 grand because I didn't have my paperwork in order because it was a friend of mine. Guys, you don't have to make this paperwork awkward with your friends. All I would do in there and go in there and say, hey guys, our listing agreement is in. I'm still working. Here's what I've done. Here's all the stuff I've done. Can we re-up for another 6 months just to make sure if you want to back out, you can. This is just to protect me. So take my lumps and use those for your smartness and be smarter than I was. All right, guys? Just be smarter than I was. So I wanted to share that story with you real quick. And then next, I want to talk today about scripts. Everybody's looking to get houses to list. Everybody's looking to get out there. We got a lot of hustlers on the phone right now. And I really wanted to share with you guys how you can hustle. So we're going to be talking a little bit about sales cycle again today, guys. I love talking about sales. And first part of this is going to be prospecting. Prospecting. How do you find clients? Guys, I've said it before and I'll say it again. It does not matter who you work for. You can work for any of those big box broker companies. You can work for yourself. You can become your own broker. It doesn't matter who you work for. Nobody's going to walk in and say, hey, here's 15 houses for you to sell. It doesn't happen. You've got to learn how to hit the streets and hustle yourself. So I've got some scripts for you today, guys, that I want you to use if you're looking for additional ways to prospect. First one, we've always talked about, it's like get your Facebook pages, call your family, let them know what you do. But man, what if we don't have that? What if we don't have anybody to talk to? How do we get started? And guys, we're going to be started with some scripts. So there's a couple places that I like to start with all of this. And one of the first ones I want to go over is the for sale by owner. So if you get into pretty much anything, Zillow, Redfin, driving around, you're going to see people that have for sale by owner in their stuff. It's going to say for sale by owner, for sale by owner. So here's a little script that you can use that talk about if you want to call these people. So most people, when they do a for sale by owner, they're thinking to themselves, I'm not paying a realtor 6% to sell my house. All right. They're trying to cheap out on it. I got to be honest with you. Most of the time when you have somebody with for sale by owner and you use this script and you call them, be ready for one of those people that knows way more than you do about real estate. You know what I mean? They know everything about everything and they don't need you to do this. Technically, that is correct in the state of Texas. They don't need you. They can sell their own property, but they're going to run into a lot of issues with this. So I want to kind of walk through this one just real quick and kind of show you some stuff that, that's going to come up when you do this. Hey there, Joe, this is Colin with White Line Realty. I'm calling about this home for sale. Are you the owner? I'm doing a survey of all these for sale by owners in the area, and I was wondering a few things. If you sold this home, where would you be going? So the first part about this, guys, is if we go back to the sales cycle, this is what we're doing at this part right here. So prospecting, you found your for sale by owner. Now we're going to initiate contact and establish rapport. That's what I'm doing, guys. I'm establishing rapport with this first part of it. I'm just asking some questions. Hey, how soon do you have to be there? What would give you a rate of motivation to move on? This part of the script, guys, if you notice, everything that I always put into scripts is going to be 90% questions. You need to be asking your people questions. You don't need to be talking at them. If you talk at somebody, you're doing it all wrong. You need to be listening to what it is they want and what they know. So here's the next question that I love so much. Question number 4. What methods are you using for marketing your home? By the way, don't make fun of them. Well, every answer that you give back to them, whenever they say something, you need to have a positive response. Man, that's great. Oh, that's awesome. Cool. Awesome. Great. Right? How did you determine your sales price? Well, another agent told me this, or, the one down the street sold for that. Man, fantastic. Right? We're not going to hit them up for anything, but what you're doing is collecting data for yourself. Are you prepared to adjust the price down when working with a buyer? Within reason. Terrific. Why did you decide to sell it yourself rather than list with a real estate agent? They're going to say to save on commissions. Great. If you were to list, which agent would you have gone with? That's a huge question, guys. You need to know if their best friend is a realtor. You need to know what's going on with that. How did you pick that agent? That's when they're going to tell you that. If you were to list, what would you expect for an agent to do? Again, guys, have you noticed these are just question after question after question? How much time would your house need to be on the market before you would consider interviewing for the right agent? What has to happen before you would consider hiring a powerful agent like myself? Right? I usually crack jokes in my things. I usually use a lot of people. Are you familiar with the techniques I use for selling homes? No, right? They don't know you. You're kidding. Hey, do you have a good time for me to show you? So I've got all the information I need to get into this thing, okay? And now I'm going to get into objections on this thing in a minute. But if you notice, I'm gathering information, establishing rapport. You establish rapport by agreeing with them. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you like this? Man, that's great. That's great. That's great. Would you have a good time for me to show you? Guys, that is my closing question. So whenever you start a conversation with anybody, so in this example of for sale by owner, I want to have an objective, and my objection is to close you. And my close on this time is for me to get in front of you and show you what it is that I do. Okay, so my last question is going to be, do you have a great time for me to show you? Now, I got to be honest, guys. Some of them may say, hey, screw you. Okay, no, I don't want to do this. All right, great. But I noticed earlier you had told me that you would be looking for an agent within X amount of time if you couldn't sell it. Is it okay if I call you back? And don't say that amount of time. If they say we're 3 months, hey, is it cool if I call you back in 2 months? Because if you wait for 3 months, every other realtor is going to be right in behind you. You're going to want to jump in there just a little bit ahead of time. All right. Now, I'm not going to talk about any objections to this because I'm going to get to that in a minute. But guys, this is a for sale by owner script. These are the questions that I think are great questions to ask these people to find out if you can get an appointment to show them. They get very frustrated, guys. Most of them don't know how to market. They put it in Zillow, maybe, or they put a sign in their yard. If they put a sign in the yard, only people that live in that neighborhood are going to be aware of it. They're going to get frustrated. You need to close them to get there. So there's my for sale by owner script in there. Has anybody got any questions, comments, concerns they want to know on that one?
No. That's a good script, though. I like it.
It's questions, right? It's just questions.
Did you create that?
I created some of it, stole some of it, you know.
It sounds like you. That's why I'm asking.
I like to have humor in my thing, guys. I can't let somebody take me too seriously. It's just not my personality. Some of you will have that personality where you're like, hey, I want to be the professional. I want to be like the high-end professional. If that's you, then leave the jokes out, right? You know, stay with your strengths, all right? So the next one that you can use for prospecting, guys, the next one you can use for prospecting is going to be the expired listing script, okay? The expired listing. So you can get this through MLS. You can go through, you can do an MLS search. I've got videos on how to do an MLS search. You just search for the listings that have expired. If they've expired, that means their listing agreement that we just talked about is over. When you put something in the MLS, you have to put when your listing expires, and it will automatically shut that listing off in the MLS because they don't want you violating your contract either, okay? And that's another great way for you to realize that, because it'll warn you, hey, you got this listing's going to expire in 5 days. So you can go into the MLS, guys. If you want to do some more prospecting, just search for expired listings. And here's where we go, guys. There's a script for that. Just call them up, okay? You can call the agent. Sometimes you can find out where they're at. You can do some skip tracing. There's public search records. There's lots of ways to grab a hold of these people. But, hey, I'm looking for blank. My name is blank. And I'm with Whiteline Realty. I'm sure you figured out that your home came up on a computer as an expired listing, and I was calling to see, when do you plan on interviewing the right agent? Never. Terrific. Right? Everything is always an affirmative. Even if they say the crappiest response you can think of, you still positive response, right? If you sold this home, where are you going to go next? Same thing, guys. I'm trying to establish some rapport. They're going to tell me the story. Hey, I'm moving to LA. Oh, that's cool. Why are you moving to LA? Well, I'm not going to move till I can do that. Then you're going to find out some more pain points, and we'll talk about that later too. How soon do you have to be there? I was supposed to be there last week. Oh man, I'm sorry to hear that. What do you think kept your home from selling? That's an important question, guys, because that's going to tell you where their pain point was. Are you still trying to sell it? What happened when you picked the last agent? Oh, my cousin told me he didn't do shit. All he did was blah, 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 blah. And he just didn't know. And I called him 17 times. Gotcha. What did that agent do, right? How are you feeling that should have been done? What do you feel they should have done? Right? What did you like? What didn't you like? It's the same questions in always sell. So you just got to make sure you rephrase them. What would you expect from the next agent? How could you choose? How have you already chosen an agent to work with? Hey, I'd like to apply for the job. Guys, humility is huge. I'd like to apply for the job. I tell that to everybody. You're my boss. You tell me what you want me to do, right? Here's what I would do. What do you want me to do, right? Are you familiar with the techniques that I use to sell a home? No. You're kidding. What would be the best time for me to come show you? Now this one here, guys, I put in the double positive close here. When would be the best time for me to show you? Monday or Tuesday? So I'm giving them an option, Monday or Tuesday. They can't say never because I just told them 2 answers. They got to pick one of those 2 answers. So guys, again, I'm calling these people, I'm asking the questions, I'm finding out what they liked, what they didn't like, and I'm closing them for a meeting. I find out what they like, what they don't like, and I'm closing them for a meeting. Because when I get into that meeting, guess what I'm going to tell them? I'm going to tell them, I'm going to do all the stuff you liked, I'm not going to do the stuff you didn't like, and we're going to sell this home. So you've already got that information. And guys, by the way, when you're using these scripts, print them out. You can change these. I'm going to be uploading these. I was talking to Ryan today. We're getting it all figured out. It'll be uploaded today. But you can change these things. Put spaces in there. You know, put places for you to write these information out. So when you go to see them, you have that information in the car before you walk in there. You already know the presentation script because I gave that to y'all last week if you tuned in. Last week, I mean, guys, use your listing booster script, and I'm going to show you a few other things here today. But just get the appointment. Again, expired listing, we're trying to go to close to an appointment just by asking questions, one question after another. God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth. That means he wants you to listen twice as much as he wants you to speak. All right. Next, any questions on this one right here? Basically same concept, right? Cool. Let's talk about another one. An absentee owner script. Who knows what an absentee owner is?
Me.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. It's somebody who doesn't live in the house. Somebody who does not live in the house.
Dad
is public record. You can look this up. In San Antonio, you can go to Bexar County Appraisal District. You can look up who's in here, guys. Again, it's a hustle. It's a grind. There's a lot of services that'll tell you who don't do this and if you want to pay for it. But this is another kind of person that may or may not want to sell the property. Hey, my name is blank with White Line Realty. I'm calling about your property at 123 Main Street. Hey, I was wondering, when do you plan on selling that property? Okay, because they don't live there. Now, yes, you might be calling landlords, you might be calling a business or, you know, some kind of company like that that does that, but it's fine. How long have you owned the property? I'm curious. How did you happen to purchase an investment in this area? Because sometimes they're investment properties, sometimes they're bequeathed to them. If you were ever to sell, when would that be? Only go forward if they say 3 months or less, guys. If they're saying, oh, I don't know, I'll probably sell it in 10 years, just stop talking. Just stop talking, okay? You know what I mean? I'm gonna hold that one forever. Just shut up, okay? They know what they want. It's fine. And just say, not a problem. Can you take down my name and number? I'd love to have an opportunity to sell that house for you when it comes there. We sell a lot of houses in that area. I'd love it, right? If they say, I'd like to sell it here soon. Do you realize it could take 1 to 3 months to get in this market to get the property sold? Did you know that? So we better start now, right? We're closing that quick now. That's what we're setting them up for. Fortunately, to get this property sold and closed, we need to do it now. And simply set up an appointment so I can get to meet you. Guys, have y'all seen the common theme here? I'm trying to get an appointment. I'm not trying to sell them over the phone, guys. I've told you this before. I am deadly as a closer, but I'm only deadly if I'm sitting in front of them. So I'm trying to get in front of them, guys. If it's an out-of-town client, over the phone listing appointment will be scheduled, but guys, make it a separate appointment. Because remember, you're cold calling at this point. Say, hey, when can we set up a phone time? When can we set up a Zoom meeting? Okay? And you need to have all this stuff together. Are you interested in purchasing any other investment properties in this area? Guys, if they say they don't want to sell, that's your next question. Maybe you need to represent them as a buyer. Set them up on MLS. I love working with investors. They're quick, they're fast, they're easy. Okay? If a client says they're not sure if they want to sell, it depends on what the CMA is, and they need to talk to their CPA first. You know, a lot of times investors are going to be all about the numbers, right? Okay, if the CMA indicates a price that's acceptable to you, and your CPA approves a sell, I mean, are you ready to list it? Let me get you a CMA. Y'all know what a CMA is? Who knows what a CMA is? Comparable market analysis, right? We're going to pull up what all the other houses are there. We're going to basically try and give them the best bang for their buck on it, all right? So guys, absentee owners. Again, you can find these things on Bear County. A great place to do it. You got a script, somewhere to start, all right? Now, if you call them and they don't answer, or they say, hey, can you call me back later? I got a follow-up one, okay? My leads. By the way, guys, you need to have some sort of CRM with this, customer relationship management. We provide one with Chime. You do have to pay for it, or you better have a system, because you got to call these people back. Hey, this is Colin with White Line Realty. I just got 2 quick questions. Do you still have to buy or sell your house? And can we set an appointment up? Are y'all seeing the theme here? Can we set up an appointment? Hey, real quick, man, I called you last week. Are you still looking to sell that house? Cool. Can we set an appointment up for Tuesday or Wednesday? Over and over and over again. I also pulled something up the other day because I love this statistic, just to show you guys. Right here, 48% of people, salespeople, and by the way, you're in sales, never follow up with a prospect. Half of them. You'll make 1 phone call and never call them again. Terrible idea. 25% of salespeople make a second contact and then stop. He pushed me to voicemail. That's twice in a row. I give up. 12% of people only make 3 contacts and stop, and only 10% of salespeople will make more than 3 contacts. So 1 out of 10 of y'all is only going to call somebody more than 3 times. But here's the funny thing. 2% of sales are made on the first contact, 3% on the second, 5% on the third, 10% on the fourth, and 80% of sales are made on the 5th to 12th contact. Guys, that comes from the National Sales Executive Association. 80% of sales take at least 5 phone calls, guys. Get on the phone. Have a system to follow up with these people. You've got to be able to follow up with them. You've got to have a system, and you got to get used to taking no's at least 5 times, because that's where the rest of this comes in. So we got some ways to qualify these people, right, guys? So prospecting, establish rapport, and close for a meeting. Next thing we got to do is identify the needs of these people. So to identify the needs, guys, I've got a script for that too. Qualify, here we go. I'm going to do this one either on the phone or in person. Kind of depends on what the situation calls for. This one right here, I said, thanks for coming in the office. This one is qualifying somebody who wants to buy a house. So if you're talking to somebody through this whole thing and they want to buy a house, you need to find out as much information as possible. So again, guys, it's just questions. Okay? I'm excited to help you find your home. I would like to take a few minutes to ask you about the home that you would like to purchase and your home buying needs. Are there any other areas that you're interested in other than this area? Where are you looking? What's important to you about this area? Well, I really like that there's a park. Guys, when you find out what's important to them, you might be able to suggest other areas, because if they have a price point that they can't get in that area, you need to find something else that has the stuff that they're looking for. How long have you guys been looking for a home? Have you seen any homes you like? Can you tell me about it? How soon would you like to move in? Do you need to sell your existing home to buy the next one? Guys, if you can get 2 of them, it's amazing. Are you working with another real estate agent right now? You need to know that, because if you go too far, you might be barking up the wrong tree. What price range are you considering? How many beds and baths? What are the features? I'm sure you have a lender and have determined a down payment. How much do you want to put down? No, we haven't met with one. That's a big red flag, right? We've already talked about that. What is the maximum monthly payment you'd like to have? Are there any other people that need to see the home before you make a decision to buy? Okay, that right there is one of the biggest objections used all the time. I know my boy Kevin, he worked in car sales, right? The guy comes on a lot by himself, and the biggest objection you're gonna have to come over every time is, well, my wife would need to look at the car first. Well, your wife ain't here. And it's a procrastination objection. They're just using another person. So how many other people need to see the house? I just sold the house to a young couple, and I mean, the father-in-law was at every single showing. And I was okay with it, because I knew I needed his blessing. How many homes do you need to see before you make a decision? That's kind of a tough one, but I like to set the parameters. I'm not going to show you 700 houses. We're going to figure this out quick. If we see the right home today, are you ready to make a decision today? Why or why not? Now you're going to find out their level of motivation right there. And it's okay to ask. That's kind of a hard question, but don't be afraid to ask it. If we don't find the right home today, how quickly will I be able to reach you and find you the right home? Like, can I call your cell? Are you ready to go look at it right now? You're going to find out whether these guys are actually ready to pull the trigger or if they're just, they watched a lot of HGTV and they just want to waste your time. You need to make sure you nip that in the bud quick. And are there any other questions or concerns you have about buying a home? A lot of people don't know the process, whatever it is, but you want to make sure that they feel good. So guys, what you're doing with this script right here for home buyers is you're nipping a lot of these objections in the bud that are going to come up later. You don't want to give them an out to waste your time. Your time is precious. If you have not gone out and shown somebody 700 houses yet and they don't buy one, you don't understand the frustration. It's probably going to happen to you. You need to make sure that they're qualified and ready to go. Let's say we have a seller. I got two scripts for this one, but this one right here is if they say they want to meet with me, yeah, let's meet next Tuesday. I'm going to jump immediately to this script, okay? Before I come out, I want to sell my house. Yeah, I'll meet with you Tuesday. Before I come out, there's a number of questions I need to ask you. Is that all right? If what I says makes sense and you feel comfortable and confident I can sell your house, are you planning to list your home with me when I come out on Tuesday? That's important, guys. You're immediately going to find out what paperwork you need to take. And if they go, well, why are you asking that? I need to know if I need to bring all this paperwork or not. Bring it anyway, it doesn't matter. But you're going to judge their level of commitment right there. Are you planning to interview more than one agent for the job? Tell me again, where are you moving to? How soon do you have to be there? Guys, this is all about establishing rapport. When I see you, how much do you want to list your home for? I want to list it for $1 million. Great. So you're going to do your CMA and you're going to come in there ready to let them know what's up. I study home prices every day and I assume you'll list with me at that price that will cause your home to sell, correct? So what price won't you go below? Guys, some people are very proud of their house and some people are delusional about their house. They think it's worth so much more, or they have no clue what it's worth. You need to make sure that you understand what they have in their head because you're probably going to have to beat them up on it. You're probably going to have to bring some reality to them. That's my experience. 9 times out of 10, I'm like, your house ain't worth near that. So make sure you know what they're doing before you walk in the door so you don't get blindsided. How much do you own on the property? Have you ever thought about selling it yourself? Will you help finance the home for a buyer, or do you want to cash out? An interesting question. Would you please describe your home for me? I am going to be sending over a package of information. Will you take a few minutes to review it? Guys, right there, I'm going to be sending over probably a CMA to them. Do you have any other questions before I come? So you know our meeting should only take between 5 and 25 minutes. Is that okay? I look forward to seeing you Tuesday at noon. By the way, guys, I'll be sending over a package of information. Will you take a few moments to review it? I'm sending a CMA and an IABS. Forgot about the IABS, guys. Don't forget about the IABS because you are now having a substantive conversation on real estate. God, I got to beat that into y'all's head. All right. So before you go, make sure you know what you're walking into. The last one I'm going to talk to you about today, guys, is my 1-minute presentation. So, no, not that one. I like the other one better. Where's my 1-minute presentation? This one. All right, guys. When you get in there, you have 2 options. You can use this presentation, or you can use the one from Listing Booster if you got signed up with Listing Booster. I like the one from Listing Booster because it comes with the entire presentation. If you want to make a presentation based around this one, you can. Hi, thanks for having me over. I'm excited to get to know your home in the market. Do you mind if I take a quick look at your home? I wrote down 3 real important questions to ask you. So what you're going to do is, guys, is walk around the home. Go see what it's looking like. You know, your CMA is only going to take you so far, and if you haven't done a CMA before you get there, you're messing up, guys. Do your homework. 3 questions. Do you absolutely have to sell your home? Yes or no? Will you price your home to sell, or do you want to keep it on the market for a long period of time? Guys, if they want a lot of money, they're going to have to wait for the right buyer. If they want to move tomorrow, you know that price sells. Number 3, do you want me to handle the sale for you? Excellent. Guys, that's the quick close. That is a 1-minute presentation. If you got to go a little bit further in here, that's what the rest of this is for. Then we're going to get into a presentation. If they say no here, you want me to sell your home? Well, I don't know. I need more convincing. Then you need to get into the rest of this. Okay, let me give you a quick presentation. At the end of my presentation tonight, 1 of 3 things will happen. And you need to make sure, I love this. This was probably the smartest thing I've put in here. You'll have the opportunity to either list with me, you'll decide not to list with me, or I'm going to tell you I don't want to list with you. Okay, because this is when you start off, it's got to be mutual. And if they say, man, I'm not going to sell my house less than $700,000, and you know it's worth 200, man, I'm not going to list with you. I don't want to disappoint you. All right, so real quick, you said you're moving to LA. Yeah, again, guys, this is all just establishing a rapport. Okay, now there are only 2 issues we have to look at tonight. Number 1, your motivation to sell the home, and number 2, the price we set. Guys, price is gonna be the determining factor. Once you've taken a walk around the house, you're gonna get an idea if the CMA you pulled up was right. If you remember in previous conversations, I usually do 2, maybe 3 CMAs before I get there. 1, if the house is trash, 2, if the house is okay, and 3, if the house is perfect. I'm setting them up for this. I prepared what's called the CMA. There are 2 parts in this. Part 1 we call fantasy land, when homeowners list the home. Part 2 we call reality, and we're going to have to decide tonight. The purpose of the CMA is to determine the value of your home in the eyes of the buyer. Do you know how buyers determine value? No. Buyers determine value by comparison shopping. That's what the CMA, right? Comparable market analysis. They look at the price of your home based on its features and benefits and compare it with the features and benefits of similar homes. For example, if you're going to purchase a new car, the one dealership had the car for $20,000 and another dealership had the same car for $20,000, but it had a CD player and fancy rims. Which car is more valuable? If the first dealership put the car with no CD player on sale for $5,000, now what? As you can see, right, guys, you're walking them through the value comparison through this whole thing. So now that we've gone through all this, let's take a look at the CMA. What price do you feel we should use to create value for the end buyers? Now that you've seen these prices, I'm going to recommend a price of fill in the blank. Guys, my price is usually based on price per square foot, and then I kind of adjust accordingly. Hey, will you, James, list your home with me tonight for that price? All we need to do now is simply sign the contract, which I just showed y'all the contract. Now, so I can help you get what you want in time for what you want. Won't that be great? What price do you absolutely have to have? If they tell you no, what price do you need? Based on that, there's a couple important questions. Significantly, do you feel that your home is worth blank more than your neighbor's? In today's market, that means you simply brought your home up to the selling standards, right? So guys, if they want to sell it for that, then you need to tell them, hey, look, it's got to go up. If your buyer wants to buy your home, but they plan to get rid of blank the moment they buy your home, how much is it worth then exactly? Guys, these are all just leading questions for you to let them know if their house is overbuilt, underbuilt, whatever it is. I'm not going to go through all these questions because they're all kind of leading questions. But that's why I'm going to recommend a price of this. Based on that, you want to list your home for that price tonight. Guys, now that we're sitting down, the close on this one is to close to the contract. So this is a presentation you can use. You need to tack this on top of the one from Listing Booster, as a matter of fact. Because when you get into all the marketing stuff, it's really going to help. So basically, guys, those are my scripts for today. I'd love some feedback. What do y'all think of them? What's going on? Thought process, questions, comments, concerns? What's going on? Anybody? I see y'all are there, but y'all are all muted. Kevin, what do you think, man?
I like the scripts. They're actually pretty good. Reminds me a lot of my current profession.
Yeah, you know, as a professional sales guy and sales trainer, I always get the question about scripts. And they always ask me, do you think scripts are important? And my answer always is kind of. I think you need to have these scripts. I think you need to memorize these scripts. I think you need to take these scripts with you in one form or another. You want to doctor them up and just make them into questions or however you want to do it. Once you've memorized a script, you've got that in your back pocket. And my scripts, guys, I don't know if you noticed this, they're all questions. In my opinion, a sales presentation, any kind of selling needs to be kind of like a flow chart, kind of a give and take, but you want to make sure you ask all the right questions. And at the bottom of every one of these, it's got closing questions. We're closing them. You can't walk in there and not close. James, what do you think of the script, man?
Similar to, well, actually, I've been kind of studying this stuff since like 2018 of October. So it's similar to the wholesale scripts that I've been studying and for the investment side of it. So I'm pretty much familiar with them.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna take a lot of the stuff that you had and just add it and tweak it to my own flavor.
Exactly. You got to make it your own, right?
Yeah.
But the only thing I'm going to tell you is don't get it to where you're speaking at them. You need to be getting information from them.
Yeah.
A good salesman asks questions. They ask the right questions. And it's, if you ever heard the term Socratic dialect, you know, the Socratic method, what Socrates would do whenever he was talking to his pupils is they would ask him a question and he would never give them the answer. He would just simply ask them all the questions they needed to find the answer out themselves.
Yeah.
Because when it's somebody else's idea, it's a good idea. If it's your idea and you're telling them, they're gonna be suspect of it. So you need to make it their idea that they want you to sell their house. That's what the whole point is.
Yeah.
They want to use you as an agent. All right, guys. Well, any other questions, comments, concerns? I know this one was quick. I don't like sitting here reading through scripts at y'all, but it's the same thing over and over again, and that's kind of what I wanted to show you today. Ask questions, close. Ask questions, close.
I got a question for you on the expired listings.
Yeah.
Where are you getting that contact information?
So there's a bunch of different places, guys. It's a good question. You can skip trace it. You can go by their house, knock on the door. Okay? It's a little dangerous. Do it on the weekends. Make sure the lights are on. But you just Google skip tracing, guys. There's a bunch of them that are free. I mean, you got to figure that out. Sometimes you'll get lucky in a listing. Sometimes I'll call the agent and say, hey, what happened with that house? Man, blah, 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 blah. Usually they're in a fight for some reason, right? And you say, hey, do you mind if I give him a call? Man, go ahead. Here's his number, right? Sometimes you're lucky that way. But what I normally do is skip trace.
Gotcha. You got $1 or you just using freehand on a cell phone?
Say that again. Ask that again.
You have a dialer or you just call?
Oh, no, man, I'm not going to burn through that. I mean, I do have a $1 for my investment stuff, but not when I'm doing this. Because as you can see, I mean, I need to generate a conversation. So, you know, I don't want that dialer just pushing me through all this stuff. These should be pretty high levels catching. So, all right, there you go, man. Anything else, Kevin? You got anything? I know Jessica took off. We're missing a bunch of people today, but there we are.
Good. I'm good.
All right, so check out the agents page, guys. I'm going to show you that one more time, just so y'all know what I'm looking at. Where this stuff is going to be is if you go to agents and you log into your agents page, it's going to be in the resources. I'm going to put it all up there today. You're not going to see it today. But if you click on resources, it's going to be in here.
Okay.
Training videos, logos, quick resources. It's going to be in this area where you're going to be able to find the scripts and all the downloadable stuff.
Hey, I got a question for you, man, off topic while we're here. On the appraisal, I got an appraisal on both of my listing and my buyer's client. if they come back without the number that we offered, how does that work?
Well, that's a long story, but I'll give you the quick answer. So you put an offer in for $200,000. The appraiser goes out, it comes back at $180, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay. Two things you can do. One, or there's a couple things you can do. One, if your client absolutely loves the house, they're going to have to pay 20 grand out of pocket because the bank will not finance anything over than the appraised value. Okay. Most of the time, that's not the case.
No.
On high-end houses, that tends to be the case. Like, hey, look, it's only worth this much. If you really want it, you better cough up some more cash. The next step you can do is you can argue the appraisal. So they will send you the appraisal and where they got the numbers from. We need to do a video about this because it's tough to do that. Appraisers are very righteous. They think they are the greatest thing since God's green earth, and they just think they're the smartest people alive, but they do make mistakes. So you got to kind of be humble. You got to go in there gently and saying, hey, look, I noticed you didn't use this and this and this as a comp. That's what I did when I priced the house. Can you explain to me why? Okay. Yeah. I've got a house that I'm about to sell right now. That's one of my investment properties that I absolutely need this house to hit value because it's such a thin deal. It's just a thin deal. If he comes in low, which I'm scared he might, then I'm really not going to make any money. So what I'm doing is I'm prepping him. I'm giving him a list of like, hey, these are the appraisals that I used. Here's all the special things about the house. We got granite countertops, tile this, blah, 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 blah. I'm putting all of that in there because I want him to see that the comps in the area, my house is actually nicer than those comps. Gotcha. And there's all kinds of what they call quality. They have Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4, based on the quality of the house. And then they have C1, C2, C3, which is based on the construction values of the house. There's a lot of things that they use, but I really want them to know what's going on. So one is you can pay the difference. Two, you can argue with the appraiser and see if you can get him to change it. Be gentle when you argue with him. Just present information, have him explain it to you. I always play like I'm the biggest idiot in the world. Hey, I noticed you didn't use this. Can you explain to me why? I noticed you did this. I noticed you did that, right? And I pick apart their appraisal, but I ask them to explain it to me in a very gentle way so they seem smart. The third thing that you can do is renegotiate the contract. You can go to the sellers and go, hey, look, I know we said 200. We can't get financing because your third party financing addendum is going to say it needs to appraise. Say, hey, look, it didn't appraise. Can we drop the price?
Yeah.
And then you send an amendment to the contract.
Gotcha.
So those are the three ways you can handle that.
So okay, they listed it for 158.
Yeah.
But so we offer 168. But my comps came out to like 167. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So do you think does it come back what they listed at, or does it pretty much just depends on the appraiser?
It depends on the appraiser. The appraiser does take the listing into account. If it was listed at X, they take that into account. Okay. Now, what you might want to do now, if you came over the top, it was probably a competitive situation, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So then what you're going to want to do is call the selling realtor and say, hey, look, I need to know what your other offers were. Because that is something that goes into appraisals, is how hot that market is. There's a term for it. I can't think of what it is right now, but that is something that they take into account. That, there was 15 offers on that property. Okay. Oh, crap. So that's a hot area. And all of them were above asking. So he will take that into account as well. So sometimes you need to team up with the other realtor. God, I can't think of what that term is called. Something time value, something, I can't remember. But yeah, you can utilize those other offers to help bump yours up. Saying, look, because that's what they're trying to figure out is what the value is. Well, if value is what a willing party and a willing seller are willing to trade at the time. Yeah. So if there's multiple willing buyers that are willing to pay this price, then that means the value is X. And you can use that as to talk with the appraiser about that as well. Gotcha. Thank you. But I would say this: if it's $1,000 off, like you just said, if you put in 158 and it came in 157, I'd probably start with trying to get an amendment hey, look, we're $1,000 off. We gave you 9 over. You know, we're going to get to 8 over.
Okay.
That's where I'd start. Because arguing with an appraiser, ooh, I was going to bang your head against the wall. It's tough.
All right.
It's tough. All right. Anything else, guys?
That's it,
That's
man.
it.
All right, well, go call some people, man. Go get some listings.